when we begin yoga class, I like to begin with a minute of silence, just to allow yourselves to fully enter the space, enter this workshop, right? Bring your whole being to this present moment. So I'll ask you and invite you to just take a nice comfortable seat and perhaps close the eyes or soften your gaze. And bring your awareness to the center of your head, center of your brain. And then let that awareness shift down to the base of your tongue. And then allow awareness to shift down to the center of your heart. And then let awareness travel down to come to rest at the base of your pelvic bowl. It's that lower abdominal and pelvic region. And then tune into the natural rhythm of your breath. It's that natural in and out of each breath. And I'm going to begin a minute of silence from this place. Breathing in and breathing out. You have arrived at our workshop of Yoga Bites, morning, noon, and night. So as we begin, I'd like you to think for a few moments, what thoughts spring to mind if you have ever heard, oh, you should begin a home practice of yoga, or just do these 5 postures from your practice of yoga and you'll feel great. Just for a moment, just let those statements roll around in your mind, and what comes to mind, what things come to mind first? And maybe pushback from your mind, like, oh, I don't have time to do that. Or, geez, another thing I have to add to my busy schedule, one more thing that is going to be the thing that fixes me and I'm not all right already, right? At least those are things that pop into my mind. So then how do we begin to integrate the principles of our yoga practice that we cultivate in a class setting into our daily life? When I was thinking about this, it occurred to me, if we take small bites, we choose small bites of things to do throughout the day, it can help us to navigate our life from morning, when time we get up, to the time we go to sleep. And if you think about that, the structure of our day, our yoga class structure mimics the structure of a day. When we begin a class, it's with some tuning in, some warm up, as if we were rising in the morning. And then we move to some more active movement, but we use our energy, we practice using our energy efficiently and effectively. And then as we wind down towards final relaxation or shavasana, which is similar to going to bed at night. We do a little more slower, perhaps more restorative movements. So that we follow that wave, that structure, and that mirrors our daily life. So what are some ways, small ways, that we can integrate these principles? Not so much specific things that we do, because there's many things and we feel differently each day, but the guiding principles are what carry us through. So this idea of small bites brought to my mind tapas. And for those of you familiar with tapas, one definition of tapas is in Spanish cuisine, it means appetizer or small bite. And you can put them together to make a full meal, right? Another definition of tapas that you perhaps are not so familiar with is tapas is one of the guiding principles in the philosophy and ethics of yoga. The yamas and niyamas are some of the guiding principles and ethics of yoga, and tapas is one of them. And it's the Sanskrit word that means fire, heat. So there's an author, Deborah Adele, and she has a great way of describing tapas as cooking ourselves in the fire of discipline to transform ourselves into something else. Tapas is our determined effort to make day-to-day choices of practice in support of our body and in support of our mind to help us withstand and navigate all that comes up in this sea and journey of life. Now, this can be especially helpful, useful, when we're dealing with the extra challenges of a cancer diagnosis, all those extra appointments and side effects and emotional side effects, all that goes along with that puts an even extra burden on how we navigate in life. So establishing new habits takes practice. Both of these definitions of tapas can be useful. They can be useful in helping us to approach, to stay on course, and to grow, to integrate the tools and the benefits of yoga as we move through life, bite by bite. As we move through a few ideas for movement and breathing techniques to integrate through our day, there's two staple ingredients, or breadcrumbs, if you will, that will help you find your way. As I said, the actual practices that we choose, there are many. It's a smorgasbord, keeping with the food theme. And that changes daily. We may want to pick one thing one day, depending how we're feeling, and another at another time during the day, or another day, depending on how we're feeling that day. So the two things, first, remind yourself to pause often. Pause often throughout your day. And take 3 conscious breaths. This enables us to listen, right? So we pause, we consciously pause and consciously take 3 breaths in order to listen. And what this does, it creates a gap in thought, okay? And this gap allows us to tune in and to listen, not with so much the mind, but that deeper innate intelligence that's deep within our body, so that we can take a moment before reacting to whatever is going on, and we can respond. It gives us a little reset button. So pause, 3 conscious breaths to create a little gap, right? A little down. And then the second is to notice when we get hooked, when our attention gets hooked, or a situation arises where we want to react emotionally, or we get overwhelmed, whatever it happens to be, stressed out. And to notice when that occurs. The noticing is a huge piece. Sometimes we'll still go into that reactive mode. That's okay. We noticed. So when we practice noticing, the next time we might take a moment, take a pause, and respond, right? So how do we take a pause and respond in that situation? Well, returning awareness to the rhythm of your breath, where you feel that breath in your body, and perhaps where you feel your body connecting to the earth. So we feel that grounding, that stable base. Maybe a sigh, right? So those two things, as I said, are like breadcrumbs. And when we start to integrate those habits into our day, you'll find over time, big changes occur, but it takes time. It's an ongoing practice, just like our yoga practice. When we first step on into a yoga class or on a yoga mat, we don't even know which, left from right, or where's my breath going, right? It's very confusing. So over time, you get more comfortable in the practice. Same thing with taking it off the mat. It takes time. Okay. So with those two things in mind, and the idea of approaching our day like the structure of a yoga class, we're going to go through just some ideas of, and there are many ideas, right? But I'm just going to go over a few of them given our short period of time today. Morning, noon, and night. Okay. And I'm going to ask Sydney to be my demonstrator as I walk you through some of these things. If you want to move along with us, please do so. Or if you want to take notes, that's okay too. Okay. All right. So we're going to go through kind of a typical day, if you will. So I'm going to ask Sydney to lie down. You've just started just almost waking up. Okay, I'm just painting a picture here. If you guys want to, for this part, if you want to just close your eyes and imagine, do a lot of imagery in here. Imagine that you are just waking up in the morning. And before you even open your eyes, as you reach that point of returning to consciousness, much like when we're beginning a yoga class, or at the end of yoga class when we're returning from shavasana, from our final relaxation, we don't just pop right up. We kind of take a little breath in, take a breath out. So go ahead and do that with just the eyes are still closed, just connecting to our rhythm of breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And as you're inhaling and exhaling, connecting to your breath, perhaps you're starting to notice sounds around you. If you were lying in bed, maybe you can hear the sounds from outside, or there's other sounds happening in your home. Bringing your senses online. And then just starting to notice the physical body, returning awareness to physical body. And you might want to let the eyes flutter open now and start to scan around your room. Maybe a sigh wants to escape. this is a nice time to take a moment and think of an intention for your day. Right? So maybe there's an intention you'd like to set for your day, an I am statement, I like to call it. So something you can repeat to yourself throughout the day that keeps you centered and grounded and on an even trajectory. It might be, I am strong. It might be, I am calm, or I am enough is a favorite one that we use in yoga class a lot. I am enough. Okay, so whatever that is, just repeat it a few times to yourself. And then just start to allow the body to maybe move a little bit. Just kind of wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. And if you have room, maybe bend the knees and let the knees rock a bit side to side. Maybe let the head turn gently side to side. And then rolling over to one side, taking a few moments. And easing your way up out of bed. Okay. All right. And you're going to stand up and notice, how did that feel as opposed to popping out of bed really quickly, right? How does the body feel? How does the mind feel comparatively to, if you think about sometimes when we pop out of bed, well, it's very jarring. It's a jarring way to start your day, right? So these are just small bites to integrate a little bit of slowing down, a little bit of mindfulness to how we approach our day, right? So in the mornings, I like to do something called a joint freeing series. Sometimes all of it, sometimes just parts, whatever you happen to have time for. And I thought we would go through some of those today. It just gets a little fluid moving into the joints, gets our body kind of hydrated a bit from the inside out. Okay, so we start. There's many ways you can do this. If you're feeling a little foggy in the morning, it's nice to do what we call contralateral movements, meaning opposite hand and foot. You don't have to do that, but if you're looking for a little clarity or a little extra brain power in the mornings, sometimes it's nice to connect the left and right sides of the brain. This is a great way to do that. So let's do that today. We're going to start with, you want to turn? Yeah, awesome. Let's start with the, we'll mirror. Are we mirroring? Is this, can you see this as my right hand or my left? I don't. Anyway, we'll start with this one. It doesn't matter. One arm and one wrist and one ankle. So you're just gonna pick up the heel, leave the foot on the floor, and just circle. Just circling opposite wrist and ankle. Go about, I don't know, 10 to 20 times in one direction. You give yourself a little bit of a number. It helps to do it with mindfulness rather than just kind of having your mind be elsewhere, right? So see if you can keep your mind focused on the turning of the wrist and the ankle, opposite wrist and ankle. After a few times, go in the opposite direction. And then pause and notice, how does the opposite ankle and wrist, how do those feel as compared to the other side? And then we'll do the other side. Okay. So circling. Beautiful. Times in one direction, a few times in the opposite direction. Always aware of the breath, moving in and moving out. I like to do this in front of a window too. It just feels nice, you know, nice setting. And then bring that back to stillness and just notice. And then we're going to bring a little symmetry back and roll both the wrists. So we're popping back up to the arms and hands a few times each direction. And then make light fists and spread out the fingers. Feel that energy moving all the way out through the fingertips. Once more. And then just turn those light fists over and just bring the wrists side to side. Again, we're bringing fluidity into the joints, right? Isolating all the joints. And then we're going to start to circle up a little bit into the elbows. So we're making that movement a little bit bigger. Opposite direction. And then even a little bit bigger into the shoulders. Awesome. A few times one way and a few times the opposite. All the while aware of your feet connecting to the earth, aware of your breath naturally moving in and moving out. Bring that to stillness. Give the shoulders a little shake, the arms a little shake, head a little shake. And then take a moment, pause, and notice. What are the sensations in the head, neck, shoulders, arms, hands? Maybe a sigh wants to escape. And then we're going to move into the upper back and heart center area. So just start to open the heart a bit and draw in, opening up the back as you draw the elbows towards each other. Just and relaxed, open and draw in. We'll just do two more. Now the next time that you draw in, give yourself a hug. A little extra squeeze, a little self-love and kindness to start your day. Reminding yourself of your intention, perhaps. Bring your arms opposite one on top. And then lift the arms as if you were taking off a shirt. Blossoming, I can't say that. Open up to the day. Lower the arms. And then just start to sway that upper body side to side. Just very gently. Again, we're just getting some movement, getting some fluidity into our joints, into the body, hydrating from the inside out. And then we'll move into some side to side motion with the hips. Wonderful. And a little forward and back motion with the pelvis and the hips. Nice soft knees. And a little circling of the hips a few times in one direction. And a few times in the opposite direction. All right, and then just softening the knees a little bit, hands on the thighs, and just circle the knees. So moving back down into the lower body. Remember, you don't have to do all of these, right? You can pick and choose depending on what your day is, what your morning is like, how much time you have. The key is to do them with your full intention, your full attention and intention, right? And then just you might want to hang on to a chair or the wall, right? And just let your knee swing a little bit. Again, working on the knee joint, getting a little movement in there. Okay. And then a little point and flex of the foot. And perhaps a little side to side taps of that foot. Give the leg a little shake. Take a moment before you move on to the other side. And then again, little swinging of the leg. Good. And then point and flex of the foot. And tapping from side to side. Good. And then just give the whole body a little shake. This is called rebounding. It's very relaxing to the nervous system. Two of my favorite things to do in the morning is a cross crawl pattern, which I affectionately call slaps, and breath of joy. So we're going to start again. Cross crawl is going to help us to connect that right and left sides of the brain, get things online, and it's a bit more of a movement pattern. Now you can do this lying down. We're going to do it standing up today, but you can do it lying down. You can do it seated. Okay. And I'm just going to guide Sydney through it. I'm going to try not to move just in case. I don't want to jiggle things around. So we're going to start same hand to leg. We're going to lift a knee and slap your just gently your thigh, right? And we're going to alternate those. Okay. So 10 times, same hand to leg. That's okay. I'm counting. And then pause, brush that off. Just give your hands a little brush. Okay. And then opposite hand to leg 10 times. This is great for balance as well as connecting. I lost count. It's okay. And brush it off. That's one round. I usually like to do 3 rounds. Keep going, same hand to leg. And brush. And then opposite hand to leg. And brush. And then one more time through, same hand to leg. And brush. And then opposite hand to leg last time. And brush. Just take a moment and notice how the body feels. And again, bringing a little symmetry back to our nervous system after that asymmetrical movement. We're going to do what we call breath of joy, which is a favorite of mine. And you can do this, I don't know, up to 10 times. We're just going to do it like 5 today. Okay. So what it is 3 sips of an inhale. So it's an inhale, 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 exhale with a ha as you fold and let it go. First sip of the inhale, your arms come forward. Second sip, they come out to the side, lifting the heart. Third sip, they lift a little bit higher. Exhale, nice soft knees, and let it go. Okay. So inhale, forward, inhale out to the side, inhale all the way up, exhale, let it go. 3 more. And last time. And then slowly we rise up, reach the arms up, and just give a little lengthening to each side body, a little reaching, one arm and the other arm, aware of your feet. They're firmly rooted to the earth. You have a firm, solid base from which you're moving from. You're getting a little space in either side of the rib cage. Okay. And then pause with the arms up. Just take a couple of breaths here. It's an active mountain position. And then you can slowly lower the arms when you're ready. And then give it a wiggle. Okay. And you are ready to start your day. One other, before we move on to, I think we have time. So before we move on to noon or daytime, sometimes when maybe I'm waiting for my toast to pop, or you sneak in things, right? So when I'm waiting for my toast to pop, or my or I'm waiting for coffee to be made or tea to be made, and I have a counter nearby or a wall nearby, it's a nice time to maybe do either some lunges or a downward, half downward facing dog. So I'm going to move the chair over. We're going to pretend this is our counter. Okay. And if you want to just turn to the side, maybe. So I'd place this is our counter. Just place your hands on the counter and just simply step one leg back, just a nice lunge, right? And we just keep the shoulders relaxed. And here's the thing. Remember those 2 points, right? Those breadcrumbs. Take some conscious breaths. Notice if your mind is off with your coffee percolating or in what you have to do. See if you can bring yourself fully to what you're doing right now. And do that by tuning in to the in and the out of your breath, where you feel the breath in your body. Be present. And then go ahead and step it back up, pause for a moment, and switch sides. As you can see, these are very small, simple things. The difference, the yoga piece, is reminding ourselves to stay present. Good. Pause for a moment. And then the last one would be that counter down dog. So just step back, soften your knees and fold. Good. Step back a little bit further, separate the feet a little bit. Good. Without pushing or pulling into the movement, allow the movement or the stretch to happen from within, with the breath. Another thing that I talk about a lot in our classes is that the breath initiates the movement. So the breath moves the spine and the spine moves the limb. And when we think about it from that way, our breath is expanding our rib cage and expanding that outward into our limbs, right? As opposed to pushing into our stretch, which is moving against our body instead of working with our energy. Okay. Excellent. So that's beginning your morning, right? And then you move on from there. The other, and I'm going to repeat this a few times. So be where you are is another simple way to, deceptively simple, not really simple, way to practice integrating yoga into your daily life. When you're eating, eat. How often do we, either look at our phone or read or watch TV? Just eat. That's hard to do. It takes practice. Or another one, when you're in the shower, be in the shower. I know this was a hard one for me. I'm always thinking about 10 other things and I forget to just really enjoy the sensation of being in the shower. Right? Little things like that. During the day, there may be myriad of things happening during the day, right? Maybe you have a desk job. Sydney's the awesome coordinator of this whole IOC. She is fabulous. She has to sit at a desk a lot. So that can cause lots of strain in the back, in the hips, in the lower legs, in the shoulders, and even eye strain if you're working at a computer. So again, scheduling, just like we schedule other things in our life, right? Scheduling periodically even if it's just to push away, if you're at a desk, push it away from the desk and look out the window. Just to change your pattern of sight, change your where your brain is going, right? If you're at a computer, simple thing to do, rub your palms together, create some warmth and some energy, and place them over your eyes. If you have glasses, you probably want to take them. Right? And do that a couple of times. It's very calming and relaxing to the eyes, right? Especially if we're working on devices a lot, right? Okay. Schedule time to get up and walk around. You can get outside, great. But if not, if you're in an office or at home, walk around. Just change your position, change your view, right? And just get some things moving. And you can piggyback on what you did in the morning. It doesn't have to be a lot different things. You can do those same little joint rotations or a little rebounding, shaking up and down, right? Those will all help to bring some more energy to the body, bring some fresh oxygen in, and those pauses. Okay, so those are all things that are very helpful. Let's say you have a really stressful meeting to attend or a doctor's appointment, or you're just feeling really anxious today during the day, and there's just nothing I can do, right? I'm just not able to calm myself down. What might I do then? One thing that I found very helpful is a take 5 practice, and you can do this anywhere. Okay, so what you do is, and you'll do this on either hand, you take your index finger of one hand and starting at the base of the palm, and I have my hand up, but you don't have to. Like if you were sitting somewhere, no one would even know you were doing this. Okay, it's just a little exercise. All right, but the key is you're moving with your breath. Okay, so if you first, let's just try this. So just kind of, I'm going to just trace from the base of my palm, up my thumb, up the next finger, just willy-nilly, just kind of, right? Not really thinking too much about it. That's kind of nice. It feels nice, right? Okay. Now try it with awareness of the breath. Okay. So from that base of the palm, inhaling up the thumb, exhaling back down. Taking complete conscious breaths, inhaling up the next finger, exhaling down. So you're slowing down and you're moving with the rhythm of your breath. You're connecting your breath with your movement. Okay. Once you get done with the pinky finger, notice for a second, how did that feel different than just, not with mindfulness, right? So we're using our breath to help create, to slow down and help create that mindful experience, right? So that we're present in every part of our day rather than just sort of running through it and wondering where it went, right? Okay, you can do that on the other hand too. So usually I do one and then the other, and then you just pause and notice, how does that feel? It's very calming to the nervous system. Maybe a sigh will want to escape. Right? Another very calming, simple thing to do, either standing or if you're seated. I'm going to turn the chair around for you, have you sit down. So just flop down in the chair for a second. Okay. Let's say we're waiting somewhere, we're not comfortable, right? So you're just, shoulders are kind of slumped, right? I'm just like, oh, I'm really uncomfortable. We're going to do seated mountain. So we're going to bring conscious awareness to how we're sitting and conscious awareness to how we're connecting to our chair and to the earth. So go ahead and scooch up a little bit further on the chair. And notice your sit bones, how they're connecting. You don't even bother to sit up straight yet. Just relax. Right? So just notice first the support of your seat. And then just look down and bring your feet in line with your knees, the ankles in line with your knees, and your knees in line with your hips. Okay, and notice what that feels like. You might want to come a little bit further forward on these are kind of weird chairs. Okay. All right. And so in that way, we're creating a very stable base, and we're putting our awareness to that connection of the feet to the earth. And there's energy in that. So when we put our awareness and we push down a little bit with the feet just gently into the floor, the earth, then that energy bounces back up. It's the effect of gravity. So it's an exchange, and it's a dynamic exchange. So now you're dynamically sitting rather than being seated, right? And then put just a little bit of engagement in the abdominals, tiny bit, and feel yourself just gently lengthen up through the spine. Keep the shoulders relaxed, and just let the chin be parallel to the floor. Okay, back of the head and neck are nice and long. You're broadening through your collarbones. You're placing yourself in the space. You're relaxed. That's the trick, right? So even though you are dynamically sitting, you're relaxed. Now tune into your breath. And as you feel your breath, feel the rib cage expand with your inhale. And put a little bit of engagement, draw the lower abdomen gently in towards the spine as you exhale. So you feel the body being breathed. And it moves a little tiny bit with that breath. Supple, not rigid container. Anytime your mind starts to wander away, which it will do, because that's what minds are designed to do. That's their job. They're doing their job. Our job is to direct them where to go, to use it as a tool. When it wanders away where you doesn't need to go right now, gently but firmly return awareness to your feet connected to the earth, to that energy, your sit bones connected to your chair, and to your breath, moving in and moving out, and how that relates to your rib cage, your diaphragm. Okay, how does that feel? Yeah? Okay. So those are a couple of afternoon things, or our hour is quickly waning here, which I knew it would. So we're going to move on to evening. All right. And there are many things that you can do during the day. As I said, the movements are interchangeable. There's always new things to add for movements, but if you keep those constants of the breadcrumbs, right, of the structure, then we can mix and match. It's like a smorgasbord or a buffet, if you will, small bite buffet. So let's move on to evening. Yes, chair. And again, our chair is going to serve as, it could be a chair, it could be your bed, it could be a couch, what have you. So in the evening time before bed, it's optimal to not necessarily eat after dinner for optimal sleep, so that our body isn't trying to digest during sleeping time. Maybe some tea or something is calming, nice warming drink. But snacking keeps the digestive system going. And to maybe turn off electronics at least an hour before you plan to go to bed. That's a hard one, right? Turn down the lights a little bit, right? So we're preparing our body to rest. Just like in a yoga class, we slow down, we prepare our body for Shavasana. So a couple of nice things you can do are some restorative postures, and I'm going to show you one of those today with Sydney's help. And have a bedtime ritual, right? Wash your face, maybe Maybe give your feet a little massage. Before you lie down, there is one nice breathing practice you can do a few times, and it's making a sound. So it's just inhaling, and as you exhale, exhale the sound. He. Okay, just do that a few times and notice how that feels. It naturally just brings our awareness down. He. Right? There's some arm movements you can use. You could bring your arms up and just as if you were just bathing yourself in calming energy. He. Right? Releasing any of that extra energy of the day, just letting it go. He. It's almost like a sigh of the word, right? It's time to relax. It's a signal to the body. So we're going to lie down, and I'm going to give you, well, no, with your chair. Sorry. All right. Yes. So you're going to put your legs on the chair, and these chairs are a little high, so that's why sometimes it's helpful to take a folded blanket and place that under the hips and sacrum, just to lift the hips a little bit. It's just calming. It also sometimes feels nice, and I don't have an extra blanket here today, but to place a very thin blanket under the head to support the head and neck. Okay, how does that feel? Comfy? Okay, so this is legs up the chair, all right, or legs on a couch or legs on the bed. And it's just reversing the flow of blood, getting the legs a little higher than the heart, and it's very calming and relaxing. Okay, you just spend a few moments here. Tune in to the breath, right? Just breathing naturally and evenly. You can let your eyes close. This is a nice, if you have an eye pillow or a washcloth, this is a wonderful time to put that over your eyes. Maybe put on some very calming music. Nice. All right. And then when you want to come out of it, you're going to draw the knees in and then slowly roll. Well, actually, I'll just move your chair off. So place your feet on the floor and then roll over to one side. Take a breath, a couple breaths there first. So we're easing our way up, no sudden movements. And then let yourself come up. Use your hand and your arm to guide yourself up. Let the head come up last. And just pause for a few moments there and digest. And then you're ready for bed. You start the whole process the next day. Another thing in the evening, sometimes it's nice to do a little reflection or a little journaling about your day. How did those things work for you? How did your day go? And then that way, that gets rid of some of the stuff out of your head. I always reference Harry Potter, you know, that pensive thing, if any of you are familiar, where Dumbledore takes his thoughts out of his head and puts them in that pensive thing. That's what kind of journaling or just reflecting to yourself gets it out, so it's not still swimming around in there and you can have a restful sleep. I find that helpful. Yeah, so that is our workshop. So I want to end with just to integrate, just with one of my favorite authors, and I will put her in the resources as well. Donna Folds is one of my favorite authors, and she just has several wonderful poetry books, and I don't know, I find them very applicable in many situations. So take that comfortable seat. Just close your eyes or soften your gaze. Maybe a sigh. And let these words wash over you, and perhaps they'll resonate, perhaps they won't. This is called being present. Breathe, relax, and feel. Take time to slow down the pace of life. Watch the rise and fall of moods, the birth and death of dreams. Feelings and sensations seem so real, yet they shift like changing clouds and flow with the high tide out to sea again. Allow it all to be. No need to grasp or to push away. Present with each moment, the whole of you, body, mind, and soul, opens to receive. Please gather your hands to heart center. May you feel safe. May you be happy. May you feel healthy. May you experience peace. May you know freedom. With gratitude and in friendship, we wish each other namaste.